set to lead his Nicholls squad against a very talented and deep Arizona team led by Tommy Lloyd in his second season, Don. And you really look at everything he accomplished last year, it sets this team up well for this year.
Absolutely. And it starts with the players. They still have a ton of players here. We'll talk about that as the game goes on. A couple things to watch here early. It's a team from the Southland Conference. We see this all through November, December. This team's here to compete. They're going to get after this Arizona team. Can Arizona dictate the style of the game? And that's fast. That's how they want it. And can they impose their will in the paint and on both backboards? A huge size advantage for Arizona in this one.
Knocked out of bounds, Wildcats ball. Your officials tonight, Mike Littlewood, Jeff Wooten, and John Stigliano. And you mentioned that pressure and aggressiveness coming in from Nicholls. You'll see that especially after every made basket.
Well, how do you beat it? You counter them. Backdoor cuts, move them without the ball. But again, I expect to see a lot of over-the-top duck-ins in the paint from DeBellis and Ballo to start. Let's see if Nicholls can hang with them in the painted area. I don't think they can.
First whistle of the game goes against Latrell Jones, leading scorer for Nicholls, and already you get a look at this lineup for Arizona, and you're trying to see how guys can build off their game from last year, Don.
And no Courtney Ramey. He's out for the first 3 games. He'll be a major part of this once he gets back in the lineup. But for now, Jordan, the guy I'm really watching, we talked about DeBellis and Ballo in the open, is Pelle Larsson, 6th man of the year in the conference last year, a starter this year. But remember last year, had off-season surgery and kind of started his year late. He's been fully healthy all throughout the offseason in the summer. He looks really good. I expect him to make a big jump for this Arizona team this year.
You just saw a shot of Courtney Ramey, and not eligible per NCAA rules, participate in the Portsmouth Invitational. That's usually for seniors that have exhausted their eligibility, but of course, a lot of players having that 5th year, so he'll sit the first 3 games, but Tommy Lloyd excited to get him back as DeBellis misses the bunny, gets his own rebound, puts it right back in.
The old Moses Malone missed the layup on purpose to pad the rebounding stats to DeBellis. But that was one of the major, if not the most major staple of Tommy Lloyd's offense last year, that high-low. You'll see it continue, just no Coloco, Ballo instead on that duck-in down there.
Nice bucket by Caleb Huffman, who muscles his way in. Wildcats working around to Bellis again off the glass, back-to-back buckets.
As long as Arizona doesn't turn it over to the pressure of Nicholls, that's what they can do all night, just go over the top to their bigs.
Blocking call on Kurt Priestley. We know how willing Priestley is to sacrifice his body. One more look at DeBellis.
Well, high ball screen, and you see the switching action of Ballo and DeBellis. They're interchangeable. Either one of them can be high or low. But DeBellis, 13.5 points a game last year. I expect that to go up this year. Don't be surprised if he's Arizona's leading scorer this year.
Paul up top, Huffman, the long 3. Larson with the board.
Larson started at Utah, remember, as a point guard. He's not really the point guard here, although he can handle it and bring it and initiate the offense. Kind of nice for Tommy Lloyd to have Priestley and Pelle Larsson.
And DeBellis with 6 points already, and you see some of the nice ball movement by the Wildcats.
What did DeBellis do better than any other big in the Pac-12 last year? Run the court. He runs hard every time, and that's a skill. You can guard guys that only run hard some of the time, but if somebody runs the floor hard every time, they are difficult to deal with.
Arizona last year led the nation in assists per game, set a school record also. This is a team with Tommy Lloyd that'll certainly share the orange. Here's Ballo up top, nearly trapped. Ballo picks up the dribble. Henderson wide open in the corner. Here's Krisa. Nothing but nets.
Baseline drive, baseline drift. That's exactly what Krisa needed to be on the drive from Henderson. He knocks it down. I expect Krisa's percentages to go up this year, too. Wasn't bad last year, 34 from 3, but I feel like he's a better shooter than that. But that number will go up this year.
The coaches challenged him to find more 2s, and the challenge on the verticality there by Henderson. Nice defense.
Yeah, they want him to do more than just spot up, and I think because no Benedict Mathurin this year, I think he will have the ball in his hands more, making plays, not just being an outlet for guys like he was a lot of the time last year.
3 assists on 4 buckets so far. Early substitution for the Colonels.
Everybody talked last year, me included, about the fast break and the get-ahead and the throw-ahead pass and how fast they played. But in the half court, they move bodies and they move the ball as good as any team I've seen in a while. And that's why they were so successful last year. Looking to build on it again this year.
Ballo gets real estate in the paint, but then flying through the air, whistled for the foul is Nelson with the hack.
You take a look at another high-low, see a steady diet of that tonight. When you're an aggressive defensive team like Nicholls is, you'll live with fouls. You have to, because you can't pressure the ball and disrupt other teams unless you're up and there's contact. So a lot of nights it probably depends on the whistle, and who's officiating and how tight they're going to call it will depend on how many team fouls you're getting.
Umar Ballo didn't start a single game last year, but played in all 37 coming off the bench. Had a career-high 6 blocks against UCLA in the Pac-12 championship game, and him and Christian Coloco sometimes on the floor. Quite the defensive presence for the Wildcats last season.
And I don't think Ballo was really ready to play much more than he played last year. And they didn't need him to, but he was terrific when he came in. But they need him this year to play. He's got to be way more than 15 minutes a game, and I think he's ready for it.
Arizona 9 unanswered points ever since Nicholls got their first bucket of the game. Nelson out of control.
I did a bunch of Arizona games last year, and I'll tell you what really impressed me is Ballo with the and one is him, Tommy Lloyd, deciphering game by game what his team needs to do to beat the other team, meaning the game plan of, okay, Nicholls is a pressure team, they're going to get up, so here's what we're doing. And it changed game to game like a lot of good coaches do, but really impressive how every night it seemed like they had the game plan down on what they needed to do to beat what the other team was doing.
Well, you mentioned the size advantage. You've got Ballo at 7 feet. Tubelis listed at 6'11", the tallest starter for Nicholls. Merrick Nelson at 6'7".
Yeah, this is no surprise. And again, the game plan was we can't turn it over against their pressure. And once we get into the half court, we are going to pound them with our size.
Manny Littles checking in for Nicholls.
And that's exactly what's happened so far.
Floater no good for Spencer. Kriisa eyes the court. Larson streaking to the corner. Pump fake. He'll reload. Off target.
Sometimes that first one's tough. First game of the year, especially when you're wide open.
And another blocking call as Kirk Kriisa sent to the canvas. That'll be his second personal.
I didn't finish my point on Pella Larson earlier either. Started at Utah as a point guard. Comes here, doesn't need to be a point guard. But I have a feeling he may turn into more of a playmaker than they're asking Kriisa to do. He has more of an instinct to put it on the deck and create than Kirk Kriisa does. Both probably equally as good three-point shooters. So that, again, the nice part is Tommy Lloyd he can interchange them. One plays off the ball, one plays off the ball.
And it's a luxury when you have somebody with the size of Larson that can then create in the half court. And we saw during shoot-around today, sometimes Larson might even play the 4.
Yeah, small ball lineups. He was doing some of that today, and not really an experiment, more than let's see what happens. And depending upon who we're playing, we may do that.
Kylan Boswell, the talented freshman, into the game for the Wildcats. Knocked out of bounds. We'll step aside and take a break, but Arizona wasting no time, getting out of the blocks, pushing ahead, and Tubelis doing what he does best, running to the rim and finishing 14-4 Cats here in Tucson.
While we're struggling just to stay afloat, what's Blake Masters' plan?
Maybe we should privatize Social Security, right? We got to cut the knot at some point.
Masters would risk our hard-earned life savings, all while giving huge tax cuts to corporations and the billionaires bankrolling his campaign. Tax breaks for them, but for us,
we got to cut the knot at some point.
It's time to cut the knot on Blake Masters. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
At Sprouts Farmers Market, we work with local farmers to harvest the most delicious fruits and vegetables. Discover everything you love about a farmer's market right here at Sprouts. Sprouts Farmers Market. Great prices on the freshest produce and so much more.
Can I help you?
I wanted to mail this.
Okay. Layla is our messenger pigeon.
What?
Oh my God.
This is mostly secure.
Mostly. Fairly secure.
Yes, sir.
This is crazy.
You know what else is crazy? That SMS text that he's sending? It's unencrypted. Other people might see your text just like other people might see that letter.
You're kidding.
No.
Pac-12 men's basketball tip-off week is presented by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. By Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Applebee's, serving those who serve us. All veterans and active military members eat free at Applebee's this Veterans Day on Friday, November 11th. First time out of the game here in Tucson. Wildcats lead 14-4 over Nicholls. And let's go ahead and check out the Pac-12 media poll that came out a few weeks ago where, the so-called experts try to predict what happens.
What do us media people know?
Well, there you have it. UCLA leading the way with 26 first-place votes. Arizona tied with Oregon with 3 first-place votes, but the Wildcats finishing second.
You know what's interesting is, we all do our homework before the season starts on all our teams, and it looks right now, right? You know what I mean? It looks like, okay, yeah, that looks about right, but it all changes for the not across the board, but a team will emerge better. And the reason I bring that up is last year, I was here for Arizona's second game, and I'm like, wait a second, this ain't the 5th best team in our league. And so we'll see if that happens this year with any of the teams. But right now, I thought the media poll looked about right.
So you're saying the media can be wrong sometimes?
We're wrong all the time.
Tubelis spinning, finishing through the contact, a kiss off the window.
How about his start? 8 points here in about 5 minutes or so. I had a feeling that would be the case.
Tubelis 4-5, 3 rebounds. 14-2 run for Arizona at the moment.
They scored 16 points in 5 minutes, which is about right for Tommy Lloyd's Arizona team. But probably more happy with the defense at this point. Only 4 for Nicholls.
Larson thought about it. Ballo trying to get some positioning down low. Henderson catch and shoot 3.
Here's the problem. We saw it all last year. The high-low is so lethal. It drags defenders in the paint. You look opposite, that shooter is standing over there wide open. Henderson knocks it down.
You've got to give credit for Ballo for consistently working throughout the shot clock to get that position.
Well, it's one or the other. You can't cover them both. Like, if you single up on Ballo down there and you single up on Tubelis at the free throw line, then they're going to beat you. If you bring extra defenders, like they did, then you just kick it opposite, and he's wide open. That's all day. So teams, especially teams without size, that can't single up Ballo down there, you got a problem.
Looked at the transfers for Arizona this season. Cedric Henderson Jr., 14 points last season. Campbell and Courtney Ramey, you mentioned from Coach Tommy Lloyd, is excited to get Ramey out there. Has excellent ball handling, quickness, athleticism. One more guy that can break down the defense.
Guy that's really interesting just came into the game. Henry Basar is Tubelis with another finish, running in transition. We'll talk about Basar on the other side. I think Nicholls just called a timeout.
Timeout Nicholls. It's been too much Tubelis already, and doing what you said here, Don, he just runs to the rim.
Every time.
If you can't get back in defense, it is an easy scoring opportunity with his size.
The reason I said what I said earlier is when you're on offense, sometimes you get buried in a corner, sometimes you're buried in the paint, and you can't get, if he's running hard every time, sometimes you're going to be out of position, and that's why Tubelis has been so effective.
And now a quick word from Chime.
Renovating an RV like me, the last thing you want to have to deal with is going to buy something you need and not having enough money for it. With our Chime spending account, we can get our paychecks up to 2 days early with direct deposit, so I get to focus on the fun stuff.
So let's talk about Henry Basar, Jordan. We saw him at shoot-around today for the first time. All of 7 feet. I challenge the Arizona media people that he's taller than 7 feet. So we'll get clarity on that at some point. But skilled European guy from Estonia, same country as Kirk Harisa, just scratching the surface in terms of what he needs to do physically, but skill-wise, he is off the charts for a guy that tall.
Bellis now with 11, but going back to Basar, you say he might be one of the best NBA prospects in the conference.
Not right now, but he will be. You don't see guys that often, that long, that tall, and that skilled. Got some work to do on his body, like I mentioned, but eventually he's going to be a big-time NBA prospect.
1 for 8 start for Nicholls. They hit their first shot of the game and have missed every single one since then. And now the foul on Eduardo Del Cadia.
It's impressive. I know, look, the Southland Conference is mid-major, and this is high major, Power 5 Conference Arizona. But Arizona, Nicholls hasn't bothered Arizona at all with their pressure so far.
And last year for Nicholls, this is a team that's also missing their leading scorer from last year. He graduated, averaged 20 points a game, and Ty Gordon. But they went on the road and played TCU close, played Wisconsin close, Mizzou close. Larson, catch and shoot, string music from beyond the arc.
But you know what I mean? Coming into this game, I'm thinking, okay, it's the first game of the year, under the lights, fans in here. You're going to turn it over some against a team like this. They haven't turned it over at all. They have 1 turnover. This team shares the ball, and I'll tell you what that stems from, Jordan. We started talking about this with Tommy Lloyd today. They have, in a short time, Tommy Lloyd has built a great culture here. You know, everybody's in this together. You can tell there's a great spirit about them when you're at shoot-around in practice, and it spills over into the game. You can tell.
What's fascinating about that is you have one of the most international rosters in the conference, guys from several different countries that come together from different backgrounds, and they just get on the same page here.
Everything starts at the top, right?
The steal by Paul. Paul trying to finish at the cup. Nothing going for Nicholls. It's going to bounce out of bounds. Arizona ball.
Is it notable alumni time yet?
Yes, it is. And so founded in 1948 in Thibodaux, Louisiana, the Colonels in the Southland Conference. Now you might see LaDarius Webb and think, who? 3rd round draft pick, 2009, Baltimore Ravens. He has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, but dude, I'm the commissioner of notable alumni in November and December, and if you only got 1, it's disappointing.
Hey, Dan Marino doesn't even have a Super Bowl ring. Dan Marino would take that.
If you only got 1, it's disappointing. Passing again. It is so impressive to watch this team share the ball.
Basar with the flush, now a 23-point lead for Arizona. Still 12 minutes to play in the first half. Just a clinic going on as...
I mean, they have 27 points in less than 8 minutes. You think Tabellis, right? He's got it going, got 11 right already. If he had tried to force that one up, no one would have said anything. He made the extra pass for the easier shot.
9 assists on 10 made field goals for the Wildcats. Nicholls just 1 for 11. Here's a little trying to climb the summit, batted out of bounds. That'll remain Colonel's ball.
See, that's where Basar will get better. Just the strength of that, to hold defenders off, to go up 2-hand rebound, not try and get it with 1.
And that's the challenge for young big men when they make the jump to college, is building that strength and doing it.
Getting used to the physicality too. You know, the European game is not physical like the American game. But we'll take that.
Basar erases that one. Boswell kicks it over. Here's Ball into the game. Lines up the 3. And the avalanche continues for the Wildcats.
So much for knocking the rust off from the entire offseason. 16-0 run, Arizona.
And Tommy Lloyd urging the crowd here to get on their feet.
This is the same thought I had last year when I came here, and I watched this. I watched the up and down, the defense, the sharing of the ball, all of it. It's the same.
So the Wildcats, they can run, they can shoot, and oh yeah, they can defend. The freshman going up high. And then it's Ball spotting up all Wildcats here in the first half.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at ticketsmarter.com.
Nothing is more important than this snap, this blitz, this drive. Nothing is more important than taking the field each week alongside your brother, going out to battle, moving the chains, surviving the gauntlet, raising the hard way. Nothing is more important than this game. And the next game is on Pac-12 Networks.
Football in 60. No timeouts?
That was a thing of beauty.
No huddles.
Yes!
Just nonstop game action cut down into one fast and furious hour.
Touchdown!
From online to the sidelines, everybody agrees football in 60 is the ideal football fix for the busy Pac-12 fan.
What kind of speed do you have?
Catch football in 60 anytime on demand. Only on Pac-12 Network, where champions play.
The season recap for the Wildcats last season. 33-4 record, Pac-12 regular season and tournament champions. Number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They lose to Houston in the Sweet 16, a matchup you said that was one of the most challenging for them. But then Benedict Mathurin, Pac-12 Player of the Year. Christian Coloco, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year and Most Improved. We saw Pella Larson, 6th Man of the Year. And then Tommy Lloyd, National and Pac-12 Coach of the Year. And second most wins all time for a coach in his first year.
Impressive stuff. A couple unfortunate things happened to Arizona. Kirk Creason blows out his ankle in the Pac-12 tournament and then ran into contrasting styles in Houston, which in an NCAA tournament game I thought might be a problem, and turns out it was. It doesn't take away from the terrific first season that Tommy Lloyd in Arizona had last year.
A much-needed bucket by Micah Thomas as the Colonel trying to stop the bleeding. And Houston last year, one of the most talented 5 seeds we've ever seen in the NCAA tournament.
Tough, physical, grind it out, half-court team, which didn't allow Arizona to get out and play like we had seen all year. One thing that's happened tonight, Jordan, is they've only scored 6 points, so that's only the 3rd time they've been able to set up their full-court pressure, which is kind of a staple of Nicholls.
Follow the turnaround, baby hook, no good. Down to Littles. Nicholls trying to string together a couple of buckets. The 3 is launched and good for Thomas. Now has 5.
Arizona, you can't exhale just because you built a big lead. It's first game of the year. We're still in the first half.
And Ball takes a hard fall on the floor, slow to get up. The officials will call timeout. Very awkward landing for Ball as both players are going for the rock on that dive.
Going for the loose ball. He fell on his arm. Hopefully nothing serious.
One more look and just a lot of that contact on that right shoulder. His body didn't really slide, just really rolled over. So try to give you an update as we learn more information, but
he's going straight back to the locker room too.
Yeah.
Let's see, little spark here for Nicholls. See if they can continue it. See if Arizona can settle in here and execute.
Starters back in the game for the Wildcats. Henderson tries to go up top. Ballo outside. Here's Creasa, lines up the 3. Another rebound tapped in by Tubelis.
That's what we thought we were going to see a lot of. At that last break, it was 13-3 as Nicholls knocks down another 3. Just pounding the offensive board.
8 straight points for Thomas. So after being held to 6 points for the first 9 minutes of this game, Thomas scores 8 points in less than 2 minutes. So Pella Larson will head to the, actually Omar Ballo will head to the line here. And
Arizona in the bonus now for the next 10 minutes of this half.
We talked about players making that leap. We saw that with Coloco. We saw that with Mathurin last season. Where do you see Ballo really improving in his game?
Just sustaining effort. He's a big dude, and he's good down there on that block. But again, bigger chunks of minutes for him. Only played 15 a game last year. You need him to play much more than that. So being able to sustain effort and give them a ton of production in more minutes.
And that's the challenge for big men. It's not only the endurance as Larson skies for the board off his knee. Ballo will do the same thing. It'll be Nicholls' ball. But for big men, it's the endurance, but then also staying out of foul trouble.
That's right.
Ballo averaged 15 minutes per game last season. Now in the starting role, you imagine that'll certainly increase. It's been Thomas, the hot hand for Nicholls. Little, the pump fake, in a forest of Wildcat defenders, bothered by Ballo.
I'd say good luck in there with those two.
Ballo trying to run. The nice catch and reception.
Doing his best as Julius Tabellis impersonation.
I was going to say, after that catch, might have to put on the pads for this Saturday.
You get both those guys running. Man.
Little, the jump hook, sinks it. Henderson, the turnover. Spencer trying to race ahead. Spencer challenged, knocked out of bounds, and will stay at Nicholls' ball.
Nicholls is kind of turning the game into how they want to play, but Ballo usually not the guy at the front of the fast break. Nice catch and finish there.
9:03 left in this first half. Nicholls starting to show some signs of life. They've been able to score on 3 of their last 4 possessions. Third foul on Grisa.
Next foul, Nicholls will be in the bonus for the rest of the half too.
There it is, just can't hold the cutter.
Like the cutter might have been holding him.
So Creasy will head to the bench with that third personal. Thomas again, 8 straight points for Nicholls. Latrell Jones, the leading scorer. Just a bucket so far in this game. Jones, tough jumper, fouled as he elevates. That'll send him to the line.
Arizona had been doing a good job the first 10 or so minutes of guarding without fouling, getting Nicholls to miss. Now Nicholls has made a few buckets, and they're going to be at the foul line.
Foul was on Henderson, so Latrell Jones from New Orleans was named preseason first-team All-Southland Conference. The final 10 games last season averaged 18.2 points per game, so when you lose a big-time scorer like Nicholls did, you look at someone like Jones to step it up. The conversation right now in the paint is Eric Nelson. Thought it was 1-1. This is why you play the real games.
If the referee's holding the ball after a missed free throw, it probably wasn't 1-1.
And Nelson not exuding much effort on the second attempt. Tapped around, Larson with the rock. Larson trying to feed a pass, and there's that pressure from Nicholls. Nice. Dissected by the Wildcats as Tabellis with the finish.
So fun to watch when you see great player movement, great ball movement. Makes the game so easy.
That's a good point. How many easy buckets have we seen for Tabellis? And they've been able to break that pressure.
And that ain't even about the mismatch in size. That's a mismatch in player movement, getting open, and guys being unselfish.
Thomas flips it outside. Littles will try the 3, bounces off. Another rebound for Larson. Now Larson's playmaking ability. Henderson left wide open. Here's Nelson trying to take it all himself and passes it out of bounds. So we'll step aside, but Sharing is carrying for the Wildcats. 12 assists already in this game. Larson and company with the vision, breaking down anything that Nicholls thrown at him.
You're helping her study for a geography test. When a burger with steak, butter, and bacon sounds like the best, she's about to find out you can't read a map. Hey, Sonic steak, butter, bacon, cheeseburger.
Sonic. We'll make this simple. It's time to go and get rewarded for it. Save up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel with the My76 app. That's right, up to 25 cents per gallon of fuel. That means for every fill-up, you're saving money for your next adventure. That's a reward that keeps on going. The app is safe and secure. Plus, mobile pay offers fewer touch points during payment, so you can focus on going and saving. Download and start saving with the My76 app, so you can save more to go more. 76, we're on the driver's side.
There are all kinds of products in this world. Things that make life easier or more fun. But New York Life's product is different. It's 12,000 experts whose responsibility is to be there, to guide you through the happiest and most difficult times. People who know the most valuable things in life aren't things at all. This is our product. This is what we do.
Start playing and never stop playing. You get the most from the game when you're having fun.
Welcome back. There are 60 picks in the NBA draft, and last year, the Pac-12 claimed 6 selections. Benedict Mathurin, 6 overall to the Pacers. Dalen Terry, 18th overall to the Bulls from Arizona. And Peyton Watson also going in the first round. Traded eventually to the Nuggets. And then Christian Coloco headed up north to Toronto. Isaiah Mobley joining his brother in Cleveland. And then Jabari Walker, 57th overall to the Trailblazers. And Don, you get 6 players in the draft, 10%, considering all the foreign players that also populate the draft. That's saying a lot about the conference last year.
And the two interesting ones, Dalen Terry and Peyton Watson, not big scorers. So you see how sophisticated scouting has become in the NBA and how positionally and defensively it's important.
A good sign for the Wildcats. Adama Ball back into the game after falling on that shoulder. Empty possession for the Wildcats on the miss.
Nicholls has really stabilized this game. It looked like it was going to be over. Can they keep it going into the half? Arizona 21 right now.
Kadia no good on the 3, but how about the hustle by Spencer?
Here's a reason why the game's gotten stabilized, Jordan, is hardly any turnovers to start the game for Arizona. They now have 7 here with 7 minutes left in the first half.
And for Nicholls, the ability to just hit shots, set up their defense, getting on the floor. Here's Spencer racing ahead, and that is pinned against the glass. Call that a goaltend, though, as Henderson was trying to hustle down. Tommy Lloyd doesn't agree with that call, by the way.
No, he's talking about he's talking about the play on the floor. It looked like the Nicholls player put the ball between his feet to get possession.
You're right.
That's what he was talking about.
Clear goaltend as you look back at it, but it's one of those bang-bang plays. Anytime a player dives on the floor, a lot can happen.
Arizona's got to reestablish this. Yeah, here you go, high-low action. Nicholls doing a better job of fighting Ballo and Tabellas down in the paint.
Tabellas fouled as he goes up. And going back to Nicholls, you start to see when they're able to get back and set their defense to that court, you start to see a lot more of that pressure.
Yeah, but again, that's why I just said I think Arizona, they started the game, pounded it inside. They need to get back to that. They've had some good looks from 3, But it's almost a sure bucket or foul, trip to the foul line if you go down there to Bellis and Ballo.
Bellis is the first one. Larson will check in for Henderson. That was also going to be a question with Arizona this year. Benedict Matthew in so many games last season, big moments, would just hit that shot that Arizona needed. And they're hoping that Bellis can do it this season.
Well, someone will emerge. I don't think anybody has the level of talent that Mathurin had to be that guy. But I do think, I mentioned Pelle Larson, I think he will have some games where he hits big shots and makes big plays. But I think it's going to be more by committee this year than it was last year. Obviously, Mathurin, a big-time talent, 6th pick in the draft. I know it's early, but probably going to be Rookie of the Year, averaging 21 a night for the Pacers. So I don't think they have a guy like that, but that doesn't mean guys can't assume bigger roles collectively.
Ball misses the front end of a 1-on-1, and Nicholls will race it back down the floor. Ball, however, with the steal, brings it back down.
Nice play. See the long arm.
Ballo trying to fight for positioning, fouled by Kadia. That's what stands out to me, Don. It's just how hard these post players for Arizona work for their positioning, whether it's fast break or in the half court. They're relentless possession after possession.
It's a system. That's how they have to play. That's how Tommy Lloyd wants it. So you get yourself in great condition to run the floor, and then all those duck-ins on that high-low.
Hey, big fellas like to eat. You got to pull up your seat to the table.
The next step for the high-low game for these two is Tubelis and Ballo getting consistent from the top of the key. Because now, if they don't guard you, if you're at the top of the key and they're not honoring that jumper, then they just suck back in the lane and take away the duck in or over the top guy. So if they can really get consistent, more so Tubelis than Ballo, now you get single coverage down there in the paint.
Ballo with 9 points, 2 of 3 shooting. This is his first free throw of the game. Lead is 19 for Arizona, just over 6 minutes left here in the first half. Little's trying to spin on Tubelis, well defended. Larson draws the double team. Ballo, nice find, and the vision again, and the interior passing on display.
Tough little shot Tubelis made right there too. That's not an easy one. On the move from about 5-6 feet. It's not a layup, but it's not a jumper either. It's kind of in between.
Ballo's on the floor.
High ball screen on the roll. And that's tough. We saw that today. If Ballo gets it on the roll, then Tubelis is ducking in or flashing middle. Easy money.
18 points for Tubelis in the first half. Put on an efficient display, 8 of 9 from the field. Checking in for the first time for Arizona, number 1, Philip Borovicinen.
Easier to go 8 for 9 when you shoot layups.
I don't think we've seen him take an outside shot yet.
No.
And that is one of the major weaknesses for Nicholls. They're one of the bottom 5 teams in all of the NCAA last season. In fact, they ranked 348 or 350 in free throw percentage at just 63%. Going to call this one on the floor.
Double bonus anyway.
But again, a big man getting positioning. Besar putting the pressure on the defense.
But if you're talking about getting back in a game, you know, and chipping away at the lead, you can't keep putting the other team on the line. I know you're at a size disadvantage and all that, but
Henry Besar played with the Estonian senior national team in 2021, making him the youngest Estonian player to ever see action in a FIBA qualifier. So a lot of youth on display. Larson, he'll knock down the three.
Back up to 24. See what this last 5 minutes of the half looks like.
Wildcats now 5 of 8, good for 63% from beyond the arc.
If Arizona can string together a couple buckets here, get the crowd back into it.
Paul tries to whip a pass. Larson gets the branches up, saves it. Here is Boswell. Boswell behind the back, fouled by Paul.
Larson, quick trigger here on the three. Busted play. Bells just swings it over there, gets his feet down, knocks it down.
That's what makes Arizona so hard to defend. When they move the ball this well, they have so many confident and capable outside shooters.
They make threes, they're almost impossible to guard because of the inside presence. You can't guard both equally well. So if we're talking about giving up something, what are you going to give up?
Boswell knocks down a pair of free throws and reclassified this summer, just 17 years young.
Unbelievable. Get the chance though. Coming off of foot surgery. Gets an opportunity to play here in the first game.
Not on a minutes restriction either, so fully healed from that surgery as Paul cuts back door. He's going to discount it as a goal tip, as the goal was bothered with. But we've seen more pep in the step for Nicholls. They kind of got knocked back on their heels in the first 10 minutes of this game. But
I would say as a low mid-major program coming into McHale, be a little intimidated to start too, but they have settled down and settled into this one. The problem is Arizona's pretty good.
Oh, up and under for Larson, a thing of beauty. He is now 26. Foul down low once again. Jones with the hard take. But one more look at this, Don.
Larson, spectacular finish.
Normally they say you put a little English on that. Is that a little Swedish on that for Pelle Larson? Yeah, I got you to chuckle once. I've done my job this game.
That's one more than most.
Jones in and out on the first one.
Here's the thing. Again, right off the top, I started talking about Pelle Larson and that he might be the breakout guy that not everyone's expecting. He's not going to be 25 a night now, but he's got 8 points and 7 rebounds in the first half. So going to do a little bit of everything to affect winning.
2 made threes also. So just his versatility is really the most valuable asset. Tubelis tripped up, loses the rock. Here's Jones, strong take, and a little defense leading to offense here for Nicholls.
Where Tubelis was going on that last play with a dribble, all he had to do was swing it opposite or strong side, and they would have had a wide open three for Henderson.
Kick ball, take another media timeout, but the Wildcats, they can run, they can pass, they can fly.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Pac-12 students need to vote. Whether that's at the local or federal level, I think it's really important for everyone to have their voice heard and to continue to better our community.
Pac-12 students need to vote because your voice matters. Everyone's opinion holds value.
So it's important that coaches educate our student athletes, empower our student athletes, and let them understand how critical it is to vote, especially at this time and age.
I think it's important to vote because I feel like we have the opportunity to
make a change in the world and have a say-so in how our country will be led.
Pac-12 students, we need to vote because if we need to see a change, this is one way to change different actions and policies and laws that we have in our society today.
We have the ability to have an effect on the people around us and our leaders, and so we need to take responsibility into our own hands and elect who we want to see.
It's important that everybody votes so we can make the most of the democracy that we live in.
Say that something's impossible. I see that as a challenge.
Welcome back. Time now for Allegiant Air non-stop life. And how about Ballo running like he's trying to catch a flight?
Lead pass by Crease, too. They just do so many things well offensively. They did last year. You're thinking, okay, Matherin's really good. Coloco made this gigantic jump. But a lot of this has to do with coaching and putting guys in situations, guys embracing their role. But more than anything, what jumps off the page about this Arizona team is the unselfishness and the willingness by everybody, not just some guys, everybody to make the extra pass to get easier shots.
What you also notice is they just play hard every possession. That is the goal that this coaching staff is trying to instill. And you've played against teams like that, Don, where every single player is executing every cut, every single hustle play as hard as they can, and that can wear teams down. Ballo bothered as he tries to go up. That'll send him to the free throw line once again. Bully ball down low.
It's just Cabellas and Ballo. Nicholls has no chance. They're either going to let him score or they're going to foul him.
Well, you see the size disadvantage for Nicholls as he just up the free throw line. Every player walking by Ballo hardly goes up to his shoulder. Ballo 5 of 7 free throw line, strokes that one. What's fascinating about Arizona is that they have such a successful season last year, Don, but there isn't that typical pressure on a conference champion because you have UCLA as a favorite. Now, obviously, Arizona will set their expectations. They want to get back to winning the conference championship, getting deeper in the NCAA tournament, but they aren't the only team with a bullseye on their back.
No, but they weren't last year, remember? We were talking about I think they were picked 5th last year in the preseason media poll. And so I don't think that really matters. And by the way, like, if UCLA, and I do think they should be the favorite based on what they have coming back and the 2 high-level freshmen they have, but it's not like it's a wide margin, UCLA, by any stretch. Like, I think you could make a case for Arizona, Oregon, USC. Andy Enfield has his best shooting team he's had since he's been at USC. So
Stanford even got a first-place vote. Speaking of UCLA, let's see them on the network a little bit later tonight. And first a look at the Bruins in regular season action. Henderson double team. Ballo down low. That's going to be called an offensive foul against Ballo. He was pivoting into the paint.
Jordan, we may have our first let's move on to the season. Let's take a look. If you want to call anything, that's a cylinder foul.
Look of disbelief on Ballo's face.
And a little bit of a flopperoonie that no longer gets you a flop warning. It gets you a Class B technical foul now.
And that was a new rule this season. We're on the officials' call and something everybody agreed with. No longer a warning for the flop. There was a penalty right away because you talked about it on that call. A lot of times that warning wasn't enough to dissuade players from trying to flop.
No, and it didn't make any sense. Like, the officials are good enough to not fall for the flops, so just don't call it. If the guy's laying on the ground and he flopped, that's him. The guy should just go in and score.
Just over to 2 to play here in the first half. Ballo, the catch, tries to feed it inside. Quick pass, bounces away. Jones puts it up with 2 hands, and Tommy Lloyd to call timeout here as the Wildcats still lead by 21. Will stay here.
Well, they've gotten a little loose with their passing, Arizona.
12 turnovers for the Wildcats.
And I think that's what Tommy Lloyd's talking about.
Time now for Nextiva Team Talk. When you need to talk with your team, always use Nextiva, and I imagine the conversations about those turnovers.
Well, you don't play the score or the scoreboard. You just, you do what you do. You build your habits. It's only the first game of the year, so yeah, we're up 20. But why would we do something that we're not going to do in game number 2 or game number 3? Sometimes easier said than done, though, because players do exhale a little bit when you're up 25-26. Let's see how this last 2-10 goes for Arizona.
And I think you said the right word there, habits. You were trying to play guys significantly more minutes than they played last year. They're going to be in positions during the season they might not be in.
Well, and here's the other thing, George. Like, to go far in the NCAA tournament, to win your conference regular season title, you have to be able to handle different styles. And this is a style where it's up, ball pressure, don't care about fouling, turn you over, all that stuff, versus there's other styles, but you got to get good at playing against this style. You can't start turning it over.
About Spencer with the 2-handed dunk, has that in his bag. Tabellis quickly lays it in, and that's 20. First half points.
A good answer for Arizona there. But give Nicholls credit. They haven't quit on this. Speaking of building habits, this is how they play. So up 25, down 25. I have a feeling this is how Nicholls always looks.
Really, ever since the initial surge we saw from Arizona, when they scored 20-plus unanswered points, Nicholls has played Arizona relatively even since then. Ever since the 11:30 mark in the first half.
You never know who you're going to run into. We were talking about it earlier. Houston in the NCAA tournament, a bad matchup because contrasting styles. You may run into a team that plays exactly like this in the NCAA tournament.
Eduardo Del Cadia at the free throw line. Gets his first point of the game. Last season suffered a season-ending injury in the preseason. Transfer from UNLV, originally from Italy. And to be back on the floor playing some ball this season. Hits both free throws, and the lead is now 19 for Arizona. Lead of the game was 26 for the Wildcats. Larson, the baseline drive. He's trapped, tries to feed it out. There's plenty of time left on the shot clock. Here's Ball, spot up on the weak side, and that's what Arizona's been looking for.
Fella Larson's done a little bit of everything in this first half.
Spencer called for the travel. The pivot amongst the Giants down low.
When you have teams that ball pressure in jump passing lanes, ball fakes, drive and kick, all counters against heavy pressure teams.
Ball now 2 for 2 from outside for 6 points. Arizona 6 of 9 on treys in this first half. Boswell tried the triple, bounced around. Players ping-ponging everywhere. Larson. Looks like he banged knees with somebody, slow to get up as Huffman kisses it off the glass. Call timeout here because Larson's still trying to compose himself. Some pretty big collisions on that last loose ball.
The last thing you want at any time, but especially the first game of the year, is you get dinged up.
Let's go ahead and check out what's coming up at half. Ashley Adamson and some guy in studio. First half thoughts and analysis and Arizona behind the scenes feature.
That guy in studio used to be the prince of the playbook at Pac-12 Networks every Monday.
Oh, shout out to my pops holding it down. He's telling me it is a long studio day for him.
No, what's he complaining about? It's only 11 to 9 o'clock start.
Henderson with the three from the corner. And the three balls did nothing but magic here. I believe we're going to get our first flop of the season. So there's the flop by
That's a free throw.
Kadia.
They still give the flop warning signal, but it's straight to the free throw line for the one-shot technical.
It looked like Kadia had taken a haymaker, which wasn't the case, and now a chance for a 4-point possession.
Just like that.
Boswell sinks it.
Back up to 24.
And for these officials, these non-conference games are also opportunities to work on some of those new calls, so they're going to be a little bit more keen for some of those flops and
well, the one thing that was talked about on that call was the art of officiating coming back, meaning it's not the letter of the law. So you can officiate based on style of game. Is it too physical? Is it not? Instead of it being exactly what the rule book says, and I like that. I've always felt like that should be the case. So we'll see how that plays out this year.
Final 10 seconds. Huffman trying to drive around. Goes baseline, tries to whip a pass, knocked out of bounds, and Nicholls will have about 4 seconds to operate with. Paul to inbound. Paul trying to direct some traffic, finds his man in the corner. Fadeaway jumper at the horn. White able to sink it, so Nicholls trims the lead to 22, but a spirited effort in the second part of the first half by Nicholls, but Arizona clearly in control. Azulis Tubelis, 20 points. The Wildcats, 18 assists on 20 made field goals. A lot of good. Some things to work with here. We step aside for halftime in Tucson as the Wildcats sprint out to the big advantage.
Extreme abortion bans like those that Blake Masters supports are putting real lives at risk.
Absolutely no abortion. You make it illegal and you punish the doctors.
I want.
But this was an issue that they ran into sometimes against their exhibition game, Western Oregon, when they felt some pressure. They had 3 consecutive turnovers and something they want to work on. So right now the conversation, though, Don, is they're trying to remember who won the tip, because it was tapped out of bounds immediately.
But it's a possession arrow. What do you, like, it's not the official's job to remember who won the tip.
So possession arrow points in the direction of Nicholls.
Right.
And will inbounds. The officials came over and explained it was controlled by White. So that'll go to Nicholls here. To start the second half of action. For Nicholls, their leading scorer. Micah Thomas, 10 points, had that flurry of 8 points in a row to get them back in the game. Backdoor cut. How about the finish by Jones?
Again, I said it a couple times in the first half, Jordan. Arizona cannot play the scoreboard. Right back at you. Same play.
Larson, backdoor cut with the jam to match.
Let's do that the whole second half. Everybody's back cutting.
Just rewind the clock.
Yeah.
Littles getting the start in the second half. He's trying to work his way down low. No good. Gets his miss. Littles once again. All for the travel this time.
You either got to go right back up with that immediately, because they swarm you 3 guys on him. You're probably going to travel or get it blocked.
Same play on both sides. You've got to have your head on a swivel when you're in that deny defense.
So what did I say? Arizona had 13 turnovers at the half. Let's see how they fare in the second half, dealing with the pressure of Nicholls.
Stripped, and that's going to be whistled a foul, almost the 10th steal of the game for Nicholls. Foul on Spencer is first.
To the line for Wildcats number 3, Larson.
So Larson fouled on the shot. That'll send him to the free throw line. And you're pointing out Larson, who's now in double figures, just his versatility and last year's 6th man of the year in the conference. Another player that is going to see significantly more minutes this season, Don, than he did last year.
100%. He's going to be You know, I said early in the first half, Tabellis is probably going to be their leading scorer. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end Larson isn't right there with him in terms of being the leading scorer on the team.
Nicholls picks up the dribble.
Let's not forget, we said it off the top, Jordan. Arizona missing a major piece of Courtney Ramey for the first 3 games. So they're doing this without him tonight.
Larson, that is beat against the backboard. Here comes Nicholls. Ball trying to take it into the chest. Can't go coast to coast. That trip stops short. Father down low, and it's going to be a loose ball. It looks like Larson. Going back to Courtney Ramey. Again, not eligible per NCAA rules for the first 3 games of the season. Participated in the Portsmouth Invitational. That's typically a tournament for seniors with no eligibility, but because of the 5th year of eligibility, it makes everything confusing.
Basically, guys get invited to that didn't get invited to the NBA Chicago Combine, but yeah. It's unfortunate that he was given some wrong information or bad information or whatever the case may be, but first 3, he's got to sit out.
Hella Larson on that missed lay-in attempt had his shoe dislodged by the defender, and he's trying to point to the official. He got a flat tire on the way to the cup, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
The officials don't stop the game, Jordan, for flat tires, unfortunately.
That was not covered in our meeting.
That's a new rule, even though it's a non-rule change.
One of the unwritten rules of college basketball, right? Tabellis whistled for the offensive foul. Littles to try the 3. Tabellis with the rebound. That's his 6th.
If Arizona can get this game going fast again. That's why they opened up such a big lead early. They were getting up and down and scoring. Hasn't been as fast as Arizona would like it for the second half of that first half.
Henderson with the block, and Krisa able to come down and answer with a 3.
Being said, they're up 27.
Largest lead of the game for the Wildcats. Spencer trying to attack the paint. See Littles not shy about the long jumper, just hasn't been successful. Tapped around. Nelson can't get the putback. Rebound to Bala. Krisa, nice find to Tabellis. Can't get the lay-in though.
Good pass by Krisa.
It's the second miss of the game for Tabellis.
It's in traffic. You got to make sure your eyes find your target first. A lot of guys catch and go up into their motion before they found their target. I think that's what happened to Tabellis on the last one. Then just a walk-up 3 here from Krisa. Not a big first half from him because of the foul trouble.
Talking about Krisa, the coaches challenged him to make more 2s this season. In fact, I think the number we were given was to see Krisa and Ramey combined 10 points in the paint each game.
Which I think will happen. There was a lot of Matthew last year attacking the paint with his athleticism. One thing we haven't talked about with Krisa either, the emotional leader of this team is the tone setter for this Arizona team by getting the home crowd into it, by inciting the road crowd, taking all the pressure off the other players on this Arizona team. He welcomes that on the road. But more importantly, here in McHale, he really gets this crowd going.
The question marks coming into the season is who else picks up that energy? We saw it from Matherin after big shots last year, Coloco on big defensive stops. Can they mirror that this year with the new pieces stepping in, filling in voids? Krisa, hard drive, wraparound pass. That's another turnover for the Wildcats. Thomas, back to Littles, back to Thomas. Thomas trying to navigate the paint. That's going to be a foul on the floor.
For the most part, Arizona did a pretty good job of defending without fouling in that first half. One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is that, to me. Good defensive teams. Okay, well, you're up and into people, but are you putting them on the foul line?
You said you were curious about how many turnovers Arizona try to limit themselves to this after 34 the first 4 minutes in the second. Jones trying to step back, jumps into Henderson, who falls. No whistle. Wow. Surprisingly, and then Ball quickly sprints down the floor to get the lay-in.
I haven't seen a team in this conference, and I've been around for a long time, convert from one end to the other as fast as Arizona's done the last year and now this first game. That was a made basket, and they got a wide open layup on the other end by Ball.
And Thomas answering back with the 3. Another foul this time against Jones, but you talked about how quickly they can convert. How about this? Made shot.
Get it out.
Stopwatch.
Get it ahead. Finish at the other end before the defense is set.
Blake Masters has told us everything we need to know about his extreme agenda.
Absolutely no abortion. We need a federal personhood amendment.
Privatize Social Security, right?
Minorities are hurting. You make it illegal and you punish the doctors. That I'm going to get done in the U.S. Senate.
Masters would take away our rights. He opposed tax cuts for the middle class. He'd even risk our retirement savings just to give huge tax breaks to big corporations. Masters told us exactly who he cares about, and it's not us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Hispanic heritage is important to me because it celebrates and recognizes all the contributions made by Hispanic people.
I wanted to lend my voice because I've been blessed with the opportunity to be in a position of influence, and I want to be a positive example for Hispanic kids and Hispanic teens.
I think it is really important to keep working hard in order to fulfill your dreams.
My mom and my grandparents inspire me every day to continue to excel in my academic and athletic career.
Hispanic heritage is important to me because growing up in Mesa, Arizona, the Hispanic community was always present, and the influences and the things I learned made me the person I am today.
Latinx and Hispanic heritage was incredibly important to me because we were able to highlight the impact and influence that Hispanics and Latinx had on our community, such as with dance, music, art, food, and so much more.
Football, beer, wings. Yes. Boneless wings on pizza. TVs, overtime, wings on pizza. Sauce, friends, wings on pizza, wings, pizza, pizza, wings, wings, beer, and now pizza! B-Dubs is the only place for football.
Welcome to Pac-12 men's basketball tip-off being presented by Continental Tire. Wildcats together, quite the offensive showcase here in Tucson. Always a great crowd for the Wizard Conference, one of the best atmospheres in the conference.
Only going back about 30 years straight. The crowd here.
Now you were somewhat infamous here. You got a lot of side eyes walking in because you were part of a team.
Not anymore. When I
first
first started doing broadcasting, Jordan, people literally would look at me crazy when I come in here. And it took about 7 or 8 years. And now, it's great.
Foul on the shot. Foul, it looks like, on Eduardo Cardio. So Creesa will head to the free throw line for his first of 3.
6 assists, 1 turnover for Creesa in limited minutes because of the foul trouble.
When you talk about replacing the production of Matthew Colombo, it's not going to fall on one player, obviously, Don. It's everybody elevating their game and seeing where they can improve just to make this team better and deeper this season.
If you're playing fast and moving the ball and players are moving, you don't need to have a guy as much because some nights it's going to find Creesa a lot. Some nights Tabellis, like tonight. Some nights Ballo's going to get more. But if your team is completely unselfish and you play this way, then you don't really need that guy. Now, what'll be interesting is that in close games and you need buckets, who you going to? But I think in general, they could make up for the loss of Mathern.
That's going to be a foul as Huffman goes up, much to the chagrin of the crowd here.
Fouls piling up on both sides now.
I know you love that.
Love it.
One more look, and it's poked away by Tavelis at the top. We're going to whistle that as a foul.
I'm sure that's a foul, but let's move on.
Huffman at the line, previously played at Iowa Western Community College in Central Michigan, so his third school in 4 years. A season high 18 last season. You imagine you're going to see Teresa probably play a lot here in the second half, regardless of the score, because of the foul trouble in the first half.
You would think so.
Tavelis tries to keep it alive, knocked around, picked up. Nicholls sprinting the other way. Through Spencer, and he's going to be whistled for the travel.
Another turnover on that end for Arizona. Vasar trying to go over the top to Tavelis.
Larson checks back in, and you said the word habits in the first half. For so many of these players, it's getting used to making these reads, I imagine, in live game action against teams that are going to show different defensive intensity.
But again, the next game that Arizona plays will probably look a lot different than this one. They got Southern on the 11th. I'm sure they don't play exactly like Nicholls, so you got to get used to that, the way they play too.
You mentioned it, the pace of this game started to be chopped up by fouls on both ends. And how about the slam and the finish? Vasar able to scoop up the loose rock.
Almost a near turnover again on the baseline out of bounds. Able to collect it, throw it down.
Back up to 26. Little's trying to pivot, spin, goes up, challenged, ripped down. That's going to be Larson now. He's fouled by Huffman.
Here it is. Vasar, you see the lane.
Hanging there at the end too. Yeah. Trying to flex on him. Those freshman muscles.
Now you have Larson on the ball this possession. Teresa off the ball. We're talking about that in the first half. The interchangeability of those two.
Larson moves the pass cross court. Here's Ball firing the three. Knocked to the floor and splashes it down.
I think Nicholls has fouled on every possession this half so far.
Chance for a 4-point play as Ball connects on his third three. And Don, he is making a living on that weak side catch and shoot.
He showed flashes last year. Didn't get a lot of opportunity, but being here as much as I was last year, there's a lot of chatter about him and the potential and that he needed to have a good offseason. And it looks like he has it. He's going to be a major contributor for this Arizona team this year.
Ball shot 47% on threes last season. He's a perfect three so far tonight. Timeout on the floor. Arizona has pushed their lead to 30, in part to 70% shooting from outside.
Whether your business is established or new, large or small, Mountain America has the services you need to help it thrive.
When we met with Mountain America, they had the solutions that we needed. It was everything we were looking for.
Equip your business for growth with tools such as merchant services, fraud prevention, cash management, and credit cards. Explore all of Mountain America's business services at macu.com/business.
My name is Austin James. As a musician living with diabetes, fingersticks can be a real challenge. That's why I use the Freestyle Libre 2 system. With a painless 1-second scan, I know my glucose numbers without finger sticks. Now I'm managing my diabetes better, and I've lowered my A1C from 8.2 to 6.7.
Take the mystery out of managing your diabetes and lower your A1C. Now you know. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
Attention gate members, your connecting flight will arrive eventually.
Have you been the victim of gate seat theft? If so, you may be entitled to a settlement.
Here at the law offices of Butsky and Bubkus, we've helped thousands collect damages for seat thefts.
We also represent wall theft, patches of floor theft, bathroom stall theft. If you sat on it and got up and someone else sat on it, we'll represent you.
Let us help you sue the pants off the butt that stole your seat.
The law offices of Butsky and Bubkus, not necessary for those who live the nonstop life.
30-point lead for the Wildcats, just over 14 minutes left in the season opener. And get ready for the gridiron this Saturday. It's a double dose of football on the Pac-12 Network. Watch the Sun Devils and Cougars battle it out in Pullman, followed by Cal and Oregon State in the nightcap. Coverage begins Saturday at 12:30 p.m. on Pac-12 Network, or download and stream live wherever you might be with Pac-12 Now. Of course, the Pac-12 with 3 teams, Don, in the top 10. Your UCLA Bruins.
Can any of them sneak into the playoff? That's the big question.
I think so.
I hope so.
I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine, and as long as TCU doesn't go undefeated, I think there's a spot at the table for a one-loss Pac-12 conference champion potential. But a lot of football to be played, and we have an offensive foul here. Latrell Jones trying to play a little football in the paint here.
17 foul.
Can't really see from that angle, but he extended his arm, pushed off on Larson.
Fourteenth turnover of the game for Nicholls. Basar just has that ripped away. Here comes Thomas back the other way, tries to go all himself in the teardrop down the cheek.
Oh, they're still playing, Nicholls, down 28. I don't think they can string together enough to get all the way back in this thing, but lead pass increase it there to Ballo.
A nice catch and finish all in one motion for Ballo. Seems a lot more nimble here tonight.
Oh, his body was much different.
And this is not good. Pella Larson, hold on. Pella Larson holding his back.
I think it was from the last one.
I'm with you. I think when he tried to take that charge, one of those awkward angles where he's moving sideways and he falls down, but he's going to walk it off. And for season opener, we've seen a lot of bumps and hard falls, and the officials will head to the monitor and take a look at the foul here. Time for an official review presented by Chime.
Are they reviewing something that happened to Larson?
I'm wondering if that's what they're reviewing, is the charge that was whistled against Larson. I thought there was already possession. Unless they're waiting for the next ball.
There must have been something off the ball on that last possession.
Okay. We'll get an explanation from the officials here in a moment. As you see Larson pointing to his lower back. Take a look at the right-hand side of your screen. Looks like it's Huffman coming in with a bit of a bump to the back of Larson. They're going to whistle Huffman for the foul on that.
But to the line for the Wildcats, number 3, Pella Larson, shooting 1-1.
It's always interesting to me, Don, when players are presented a larger role, how well do they still play within themselves, not try to force things because they've now been given more of an opportunity. It feels like Larson, one of those guys that really just stays within himself throughout the game.
He's a good basketball player. I think the only thing that would be interesting, and I didn't get a chance to ask him today, is does your mindset change at all coming off the bench versus starting? Some guys it does.
That's a good point, because some guys, as Ballo with the hammer down low. Rocks the rim for his 15th point of the night. You're going back to that mindset between a starter and someone coming off the bench. Some guys love that energy of having their name called while the lights are out. As we take a look at this jam by Ballo.
Sharing the ball, and Ballo's just such a load down there. Long arms.
7 feet, 260, so you got to be familiar with the squat rack to try and keep him out of the paint. Ball with the turnover.
Turnover to himself.
And Basar called for the travel.
Again, another strength issue there for Basar. Posting up, getting some contact behind them, and gets knocked off. Shuffles his feet.
Beaching in, checking in for Arizona.
You know, everybody talks about Jordan, getting stronger, right? And yeah, you look stronger when you've been in the weight room in your upper body, but it's not really for bigs like Basar. It's about your base.
Yep.
And getting your base stronger so that you can keep a spot. You can get to a spot without getting knocked off.
The term they call is fill the seat for that one.
Right.
Build up that booty and that dunk.
Right. And so yes, your upper body probably will look bigger, but that's not really the point. The point is to get that lower half much stronger.
Three was good by Thomas. Timeout on the floor. Arizona in full control of this one. Step aside for a moment as the Wildcats look to close this one out.
There are all kinds of products in this world. Things that make life easier or more fun. But New York Life's product is different. It's 12,000 experts whose responsibility is to be there, to guide you through the happiest and most difficult times. People who know the most valuable things in life aren't things at all. This is our product. This is what we do.
Pac-12 students need to vote. Whether that's at the local or federal level, I think it's really important for everyone to have their voice heard and to continue to better our community.
Pac-12 students need to vote because your voice matters. Everyone's opinion holds value.
So it's important that coaches educate our student athletes, empower our student athletes, and let them understand how critical it is to vote, especially at this time and age.
I think it's important to vote because I feel like we have the opportunity to make a change in the world and have a say-so in how our country will be led.
Pac-12 students, we need to vote because if we need to see a change, this is one way to change different actions and policies and laws that we have in our society today.
We have the ability to have an effect on the people around us and our leaders, and so we need to take responsibility into our own hands and elect who we want to see.
It's important that everybody votes so we can make the most of the democracy that we live in.
Magenta. I hate cartridges. Not magenta, not magenta. I'm not going back to the store. Magenta! Cartridges are so...
The Epson EcoTank. No more cartridges. It comes with an incredible amount of ink that can save you a lot of frustration. The Epson EcoTank.
Just fill and chill. Available at...
Time now for our Old Trapper beefy moment. That's a big Phillips down low on this one. How about Ballo with the catch and finish?
That is a beefy moment. Ballo, speaking of working on his body, I was talking to Chris Rounds earlier tonight before the game, strength coach for this Arizona basketball team, about Basar in particular, but everybody, and how much they lift during the season. Does it matter if a guy plays heavy minutes? Is he not playing a lot? Do you tailor it? And obviously, the weight room is going to be a big deal for Basar and his development and that base that we were talking about. So trying to lift as much as you can during the season, but also still being ready for game action.
And to put in perspective, Ballo, Basar, same height, 60-pound difference between the two of them.
That's right.
9-point lead here for the Wildcats, still in full control. Nicholls ball.
Returning ball is number 4, Kyle Boswell. For Huffman.
One note about Nicholls. They made it to the NIT West. Won their regular season conference, lost in the conference tournament. And to determine their starter for this NIT game, they just played 5-on-5 in practice. And the winning 5 got to start the game. So he had some guys in that opening matchup against SMU that maybe started their second game of the year because they won that in practice. So you take a look at what they're trying to build there with head coach Austin Claunch, and very competitive atmosphere as we have another whistle. And another flop here, Don.
Yeah, I mean, the more they call it, the more it's hopefully going to be quick. You know, guys will stop doing it quicker.
It's going to be on Jones as well. So Creasy will step to the line for a vacant free throw.
Much harder technical free throws than regular free throw with guys on the line.
They're cracking down on this year, I'll tell you that much, Don. Is there a flop that really stands out to you? The one that you saw that you just couldn't believe?
Well, in general, the one that they have kind of gotten rid of, you don't see a lot of anymore, is when a ball handler would turn the corner and get met by a defender and snap his head back to try and draw the foul. You don't see that one as much anymore. The one you still see is the shooter falling down after contested from behind the three-point line. And all these college players mirror what NBA players do, but the NBA's getting rid of a lot of that too. So maybe they'll go hand in hand, and hopefully will stop with the flopping.
Ballo with the rebound. That brings him up to 8 rebounds to go along with 17 points as he gets tied up. That is already the 10th foul of this half for Nicholls. With 10:45 left to play in the game.
It's a 31-point game. I don't think we need to call it as tight. I mentioned the art of the officiating, and that's what I took it as, Jordan, like a little bit of time and score involved in the officiating.
So Eduardo Delcadia fouls out for Nicholls. Ballo has a chance to go to the line for his 10th and 11th free throw of the evening.
He ain't going to be the only one.
Hits the front end. It will be fascinating the types of lineups you'll see from Arizona this year because of the versatility of Larson. They've also got some athletic ability and face art at his feet. We haven't really said much about another 7th freshman, Anderson, sitting on the bench. That, hey, as we say,
right
he rises up. Hey, listen.
So you can get guys minutes now all of a sudden?
You're going to have so many players' parents calling me all of a sudden. Creasy gets the rock, pushes it down the floor, flips a pass. Larson elevates, fouled, and he takes a shot to the face.
Larson's gotten beaten up a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for him. He goes up and just gets
Nice play by
slapped out
Creasy, though. I thought he was going to throw it ahead to Boswell, but held on to it and waited for Larson on the trail to flip it to him.
Foul was on Terrell, the 6th Nicholls player with at least a rebound.
Number 10 is Lewis Tavares. And now entering for the Wildcats, number 44.
55 fouls called in the Arizona State game earlier. We may get there in this one too.
So as we mentioned, Dylan Anderson checking into the game for the first time. By Henry High School in Gilbert. Largest lead of the game, 34 for Arizona. Back to a cut. Denied at the top by Tubelis.
Look at him run.
Larson pushing the pace. And the outside, Boswell able to knock it down.
Well, again, that's the other part I haven't mentioned either, Jordan. When you get bigs running to the front of the rim, that sucks defenders into. What does that do? Opens up the perimeter in transition.
25th assist of the night for the Wildcats. Thomas is up to 20 points. That now ties Tabellas for the game high. Anderson trying to get down low. Ball slapped at. Gets it back outside. Larson, patient. Skies. Double clutch off the glass. That's an interesting play, Don, because it shows you the freshman that catch. Ball kind of gets ripped away, kicks it back outside. Veteran able to then show just the ability to control himself and slow down the game.
Well, we've been talking all night, Jordan, about the guards attacking the paint and Tommy Lloyd wanting more twos. See Larson with the ability there.
Larson now with a double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds to go along with 4 assists.
I wonder if his night is done. I would imagine so.
Bellis is still a preset out there. So Henderson, so for starters, 9 minutes left. As you said, that 36-point lead. Bellis trying to get it to Anderson, slapped away. Here comes Nicholls. Nelson, the awkward turnaround, bothered by Anderson.
Degree of difficulty high on that one.
Nice pass down low. Boswell to Bellis, the finish, and won it. The no-look pass by Boswell. How about the anticipation by the youngster?
For 3 points.
And they really do such a good job of sprinting to that weak side 3-point line in transition. And if you don't cover everybody, it can quickly break down your defense. Now to Bellis with 22 points. Completes the 3-point play. Baysar will check back in for Tabellis.
I think what Tommy Lloyd wants here is this younger group, with the exception of Henderson, to see if they can hold this lead right now. You know, not that they're in any danger of losing the lead. They might lose the game, but you know what I mean? Like, Nicholls doesn't go on a run where you maybe have to bring back in one of his guys.
Right, and other than Ball, every single player on the field for Arizona wasn't with this team last year. Outside 3 is good for Nelson. First big field goal of the game for him. Henderson, baseline drive, picks up the rock, tries to get into traffic, and another turnover for Arizona. This time, Huffman streaking down the floor for the land, and that's 5 points in a row for Nicholls. Ball wide open, weak side, and a whistle on the play. Looks like it was down low. We'll sort it out when we come back, but Arizona trying to give the new faces a little bit of run here in the second half.
I'm Mark Kelly, and I approve this message.
In Arizona, a man is as good as his word.
Our military leadership, totally incompetent.
Women are not paid less in America than men. Men do the most dangerous jobs. Men are the ones who are the police officers.
The federal government needs to step in, so no state can permit abortion.
We got to cut the knot at some point. Maybe we should privatize Social Security.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to push and get done in the U.S. Senate.
If you're an HR leader, everyone depends on you.
I quit. I'm fine. I can come in.
I'm done.
We're not hiring my ex-husband.
Well, the results of our employee survey are in. Everybody loves the birthday bashes, but 87% of them are going to quit. So.
That's why HR leaders depend on Paycor to help them recruit, retain, and develop talented people. Visit paycor.com/leaders.
Pac-12 men's basketball tip-off week is presented by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. By Allegiant Air, non-stop life. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? Welcome back to Tucson. Wildcats still working that 34-point advantage over Nicholls, but coming up next year on Pac-12 Networks, UCLA will tip off their season. You know the heavy hitters, Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez, but how about the freshmen coming in here, Don, Amari Bailey, and Adam Bona?
Bona is going to be a major factor on the defensive end. I did their exhibition last week, and he is a monster controlling the paint, but even more importantly, Jordan, being able to switch on to guards and screen roll game. For a freshman and a guy that big, that's what jumped off the page to me, was his ability to move his feet and switch ball screen actions.
Number 8 UCLA taking on Sacramento State after this one gets done. And
the other thing to watch in that one too, Jordan, is Tiger Campbell has been celebrated as this game manager, and he doesn't turn it over, and he runs the offense, and that's all true. His shooting, he was over 40% last year from 3. His role, we've been talking about role changes all night. His role's changed a little bit, where he now has to become more of a scorer, and I think he will. He had 25 in that exhibition last week, so something to watch with UCLA is Tiger being more assertive on the offensive end.
And you look at Arizona, where they're freshmen, you want them to be complementary pieces to help with their depth. For UCLA, is it fair to say their freshmen are going to have to play very pivotal roles for them this year?
I think, Jordan, if UCLA ends up winning the conference and going deep into the tournament, it will be because those freshmen continued to grow all year and got better. UCLA not real deep, at least not right now. Mac Etienne, big guy, still out. They're hoping to have him back sometime this month. But they're not real deep. So you hope they stay healthy and those freshmen continue to evolve.
Saw Vasar with a nice little rip through and able to splash the mid-range jumper, and that's what makes him such a tantalizing prospect eventually. He's got some nice touch from outside. Anderson again bothering the attempt, so a couple of possessions where Anderson has protected the rim.
Certainly got the size to do it.
Anderson no good on the floater. Here comes Nelson, kicks it ahead. Whoa. Terrell falls to the floor. Court monster got him.
Three-point line will jump up on you every now and again.
The best defenders next to the baseline, right? Anderson trying to get the high-low, whips it over. Anderson chopped out on the paint. Yeah. You know this, when you're trying to go in and rip the ball from a big man, you got to be somewhat patient. You can't just initially rip it in there.
Like, hey guys, they're in the bonus, maybe go in there. I don't know.
It's habits that we
talk
talk
about,
about,
I would
right?
do it. See, here's the thing with a guy like Anderson. If he works, you asked a question today, it sounds like he works. Yeah. He'll be here for 4 years. So maybe not this year, maybe a little bit next year, but what does he look like by the time he's a senior? If he continues to work.
Two-time Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Arizona. And a lot of times programs need those types of players. The one-and-dones, they're flashy and they're great, but if you're looking at sustained, consistent success, you need the 3- and 4-year players that develop and are a big part of your system.
Easier said than done, but the right mix is both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Having a handful of seniors, having a handful of high-level, high-recruited guys.
That's the formula that UCLA is trying to look for this year as we get done talking about them and their matchup coming up after this game. Anderson, pump fake. 13 to shoot. Haven't really flirted with a shot clock violation yet this game. Ball. Curling, driving, ball. Tries to keep that pivot foot down, but it drags just a little bit for the travel.
Yeah. Worrying about the shot clock running out, I don't think is a problem for Arizona.
No. of the half for the Wildcats. Huffman, nice little touch on the floater.
These are good minutes for these young Arizona guys. Getting a big chunk. Sometimes you only get, 2-3 minute rips. They're getting a nice big chunk here.
You mentioned the physicality of this Lakers team. They're a rather experienced squad. A lot of seniors, fifth-year players, and sophomores that have played significant minutes, so they've had that strength, that opportunity to build that up in college. And now the freshmen getting a chance to experience that firsthand.
For the line of offense, number 2, without the ball, shooting 2.
So going back to Terry last year, because I love that you asked a lot of players across the conference this question: how many points did he average last season? He was a first-round pick. What did you love about his game? How he complemented a team like Arizona that was one of the best teams in the nation.
Here's what players do not understand. They think that they have to be the star of the team. They think they have to be the leading scorer. The more points I score, the more likely I get drafted. No. When you're being evaluated as a college player, they are looking for what you translate as. Matisse Thybulle, same thing. Under 10 points a game, 21st pick in the draft. They slot you into what they think you're going to be, a 3-and-D guy. Can you be a multi-positional defender? Can you switch 1 through 3, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, whatever it is? And they see value in that. When you get to the NBA, you're not going to be a star. The top pick in the draft, Cade Cunningham, those kind of guys, yeah, they're going to be the star. You're going to be asked to play a role. So Dalen Terry, 8 points a game here, but what he did was, through the pre-draft process, is Dalen Terry showed to people that he can make a 3. So you put the multi-positional switching defender. Now the Chicago Bulls think, well, you know what, he's a better shooter than he showed in college. We're going to take him way higher than anybody thought he'd get taken. And that's what players need to understand. What is your role? What role can you play as Boswell knocks down the 3 and get good at that? You're not going to walk on the Golden State Warriors and be the leading scorer.
No.
But can you guard multiple positions and make a 3?
It's also interesting for some guys how they step in and flourish in the NBA system. And so far, a showcase for the youth here in Arizona, and Anderson flexing some muscle on both ends of the floor as the Wildcats total control.
Nothing is more important than this game.
While we're struggling just to stay afloat, what's Blake Masters' plan?
Maybe we should privatize Social Security, right? We got to cut the knot at some point.
Masters would risk our hard-earned life savings, all while giving huge tax cuts to corporations and the billionaires bankrolling his campaign. Tax breaks for them, but for us?
We got to cut the knot at some point.
It's time to cut the knot on Blake Masters. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
It's your boy, Biggie!
That is Reggie Bush, dressed up as a Wendy's biggie bag.
Fries! Come on, Nuggets! There it is! Drinks! No, not the drinks, man.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $5 biggie bag.
At Sprouts Farmers Market, we work with local farmers to harvest the most delicious fruits and vegetables. Discover everything you love about a farmer's market right here at Sprouts. Sprouts Farmers Market. Great prices on the freshest produce and so much more.
Premium cotton, grown and sewn in America. The new Jockey Made in America tee is the most comfortable t-shirt you'll ever wear. Just know that you're supporting American workers who craft the comfort Americans have trusted since 1876. Remember, there's only one jockey.
Time now for our jockey difference maker, and we're looking at number 10, Azulis Tubelis, 23 points, 10 and 12 from the field, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, Don McClain.
It shows you how the game went, is that he had 20 in the first half, only 3 in the second, but they're still up 40. So again, the ball movement, the player movement, that's the point I was making earlier, Jordan, where even half to half, game to game, sometimes the ball just finds other guys more. More guys got involved in the second half.
4 players in double figures. Tabellis leading the way, but follow Larson 18 and 16. How about Adama Ball? 14 points coming off the bench for the Wildcats. And really just showing a lot of depth. And I think what stands out too is the shot making, Don. They are still 62% from three in this game. 10 of 16.
Speaking of big rips of minutes, the non-scholarship guys are going to get some burn.
Yes, they are. So let's go ahead and go through the Rolodex, or the LinkedIn profiles, as I like to say. You got number 42, a familiar last name, Luke Kristoviak. Obviously his dad, Larry Kristoviak, former coach at Utah. Also, number 23, Matthew Lang. He's a grad transfer pursuing his master's in the Eller College of Business. And number 15 with the Rock, Grant Whiteman. Played basketball just 2.5 miles away here from Kale City. So you imagine he was one of the youngsters after the game trying to get some autographs back. The elevation, and the bucket is good on the other end for Spencer. Spencer, preseason second team All-Southland Conference for Nicholls. The most experienced players returning. Here's Lang in and out for the 3. Anderson right there to put it right back in.
Anderson's still bigger than everybody on Nicholls. We were talking about that in the first half. The size difference. Anderson shows it there.
Huffman the drive. Anderson just a step too late. Nicholls still playing hard to the final whistle. They've got the majority of their starters back on the floor. Not every day they get a chance to play against a Pac-12 team.
But it's the walk-on.
It's still a big arena. This is more people than they might play in front of all season long for most of the time. Kristoviak the drive. He gets fouled and a chance to put some points on the board.
If I was in the game right now as a non-scholarship player, I would be driving it too.
Well, you'd be driving it either way, right? Well, that's how you lead the conference.
No, but I'm just saying that you know they're in the bonus, and you know they're probably going to foul you if you drive it.
Yeah. Wilmanah checking in for Dylan Anderson, number 33. And we got to give some love to 22 Jordan Maines as well. So the scout team, as we like to call it, on the floor for the Wildcats.
Scout team, that's what I was looking for.
Which, hey, it's a lot of work. You got to give those solid, consistent looks, especially in a big matchup. You got to cut when you're supposed to cut, set screens in the right place.
You're asked to do a lot, not a lot of rewards, so that's why this is great that Tommy put him in so early. Instead of getting the last 45 seconds like normal, they get 4 minutes or so here.
Were you ever on the scout team? Too good of a score, right? Well, for us common folk like myself that were on scout team before.
They don't pay you NBA money to be on a scout team.
I think every scout team player loves it when you get that team that has that green light shooter. You know you're going to get a lot of opportunities to get some shots up throughout the week. Kristoviak in the corner, kicks it over to Lang. Back to Kristoviak, pump fakes the 3, dips it inside. How about the nice pass to Manon? Okay.
Really nice look.
That's Tommy Lloyd trying to go to the end of the bench. We still have more jerseys to come off. Yes, this is a deep scout team.
I haven't seen this big of a roster in I don't know how long.
Well, that's, of course, Vilas Tubelis.
They have a ton of scout team guys.
The younger brother, of course, of... And how about the three being knocked down? Lang with the big three. Well, look at this. He catches. They can all shoot at Arizona. Weak side three. Doesn't matter who's rocking the jersey. They're going to knock it down. So Lang gets his one shining moment.
Got to practice against those Gonzaga players for 4 years. Now he's here at Arizona playing against these guys.
Oh, you love it. Ben Ackerley, number 21, into the game as well, too, for the Wildcats as they try to just close up shop. $115 points. Let's not disregard that.
The combination of the pace of play, right? Easy baskets in transition, and the foul line. Clock stops, and you add points.
115 points ties the most in opener program history.
The most?
Well, let's see if they can get a bucket here. You got 107. You got to get a shot up here, Don McClain.
But I can't believe 115.
And we have another foul right here.
Was the most.
Yeah, I feel
115 in a college game is a lot.
You don't see that too often.
No.
So right now, the team is shooting 71.2%. That's important because 71.4% is the all-time single-game highest field goal percentage in program history.
I think well, here's the thing, Jordan. They'll only shoot it one more time with a minute 4.
There's a lot riding on this last shot here.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of things. Which scout team member will rewrite the record books here at Arizona with just over a minute left?
I don't think Tom will make him hold it here and run it out and just give the ball to Nicholls. This will be the last possession.
I think you got to go to Manah diving through the paint right here. Get your action.
High percentage, hopefully.
Here we go. Screen roll, Manah cutting to the hoop. Down low, a chance. No. It was there, Don.
Now they're probably won't.
They might not get it. They might get iced out by the shot clock. We'll see. Quick shot, another chance. Possibly Arizona. Next made bucket might set a single game record for highest field goal percentage. And also set the record for most points in a season opener program history. One shot can change it all.
Well, are they going to shoot it, though? That's the thing.
We got about an 11-second differential between shot and game clock. Who will be the hero? And it's going to be the drive to the cup for Jordan Maines. That is a new program record for most points in a season opener and bumps the field goal percentage to 71.7%, a new single game record in Arizona history. So, all these retired jerseys decorating the halls here. It is Jordan Maines that has helped set 2 records with 1 shot and change the history of Arizona basketball. So that'll wrap it up here. Arizona 117, Nicholls 75, a dominant all-time offensive performance for Tommy Lloyd. And these Wildcats, start to finish, they had full control.
Impressive. And we saw it last year, the style of play, Jordan. They jumped on him early, never looked back. Different guys with bigger roles, different roles this year, but same result. Arizona, impressive on the offensive end.
Once again, our final score, Arizona 117, Nicholls 75. For Don McClain, our entire crew, I'm Jordan Kent saying good night and so long from Tucson. Send it to LA, number 8.
We now join this program already in progress.